My name's Austin Weaver. I am 20 years old, and I'm from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. I play drums in a band called Bliss Consideration. I started when I was very, very young. When my parents bought me my first little drum kit when I was in about first grade. That was when I officially started really getting into playing drums, but I was really into playing on pots and pans growing up as a really, really young guy. Well, I mainly am into my band, like for the most part, but I also like to skateboard and snowboard. Chill. Listen to music. Well, my parents are awesome when it comes to my music. They help out in any way they possibly can. My dad, if it wasn't for him, he got me my drum kit, actually. So for my 16th birthday, after I was playing drum kit for 10 years, he bought me this kit, and I love it to death. It's gonna be a drum set I have for the rest of my life, so I thank him for that.
When you guys started practicing here?
They were kind of skeptical at first because like we didn't have practice here in the very, very beginning. At least our first like 2 practices were at our other buddy's house, but since we're pretty much an official band right away, we just decided to move practice to here so I could play my own drums. And it didn't take them long to be okay with it, but at first they were like, I guess you can have your friends over to play music, like that'll be loud, but I mean they definitely said I could. I'm not saying they didn't want me to. They were really excited that I was like playing in a band, so like once we moved here and they got to hear us play a lot, I mean I think they started to have a lot of fun like giving us their input on like how we sounded and stuff, because they can hear us upstairs no problem. But they still do the same thing, like we'll come up after practice and like be leaving and they'll be sitting in the living room and tell us their recap of the practice after our practice, so that's always fun to get their input on things. There's no way in hell I could have gotten here without my parents. They're a huge support to me, like, I don't know, it's really cool to see them. I can definitely tell that I can tell that they know I want to do this, I guess is like a good way of putting it, because they can tell I'm like really like passionate about drumming, and they can tell that I really love being in this band, and so that's why I think they're like so into helping me and like supporting me with my music, because they know it's what I love, and they're always there like just to like, you know, both critical input, you know, and like, you know, things that are helpful. You know, they tell us when we're like sounding like crap, and then tell us when we're sounding good. They say, well, what the hell's wrong today? You sounded awful. You know, like you guys like, so what's wrong? You know, like, so they like pick up on those things. That's always fun, and they're like having coaches. It's like having like a team. And then I don't know, they're great. They always show up to the shows, and it's just fun to like for the other bands to see like our families there, and it's just great. Well, the first drum I actually got after playing on Cups for so long was a little Curious George drum, little snare drums, and I played it so much that I just beat the hell out of it the entire day. Just rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat, boom, broke it. And so like that happened. We're like, oh well, he clearly really likes drumming. So shortly after that's when I got my first drum kit, but I still have the Curious George drum. It's actually up in my room with all like my other old drum memories.
Did you have video games growing up?
Not many, not until like way later on, and even then I wasn't really obsessed with playing with them because I didn't have them forever. I only ever played at a friend's house, and even then I wasn't really too into it, but it wasn't like stressed out like, oh, I can't have video games. I just never really cared to. I did have to share a cell phone when I first got one when I was pretty young, but other than that, I didn't really use the computer all too much. We did have a computer, but I didn't get really a laptop until high school came around and I needed it. But up until then, I never really played computer games or, used like AOL when AIM was popular, but I mean, other than that, not too much technology. Definitely could have had a negative impact on me since like a lot of people are glued to their cell phones and glued to like their social lives via their cell phones. So I feel like if I had the same technology in like middle school as it exists now, I feel like I could have been like spending my time on other things that weren't necessarily like physical things, I'd be like playing little games on my phone or like texting people, and it's all stuff I do now, but like we didn't grow up having them from the get-go, so it's a little bit different of a relationship between our generation and the cell phone, and then like the generation below us and the cell phone. It's a lot more personal of an item. It's like something you have to have with you at all times, and like that's just kind of annoying. Like, I don't know, I feel like if I had one of that, I probably wouldn't learn a lot of things that like I learned because I didn't have a like computer around or a iPhone around to look it up. So like I'd sit there, like mess with my kid however I wanted to, like tube things. There's like little things that you wouldn't really think of, I guess is the better way of putting it. Like in the grand scheme of things, it's kind of hard to pinpoint it. It did have some technology, but I'd say it would definitely like have kind of an impact, or like at least like a slowing in the process of like practicing all the time. I think kids are very dependent on technology these days, in like all, if not all, then as many aspects of their life as they possibly can make it. So they're even trying to like bring technology and social media and all that stuff into school, which it can be beneficial, but I think it's a little bit ridiculous. But I don't know, I think kids are like rely almost too much on technology these days. During high school, I'd like come straight home from school, and before hitting anyone up to like go hang out, I'd sit down and like play drums for a while, whether it be 2 hours or 5 hours. I never really kept track, but it was always a real long time after, like, every single day. And just for the fun of it, it started out as like, just being for fun, and then it became a routine, and I guess it was like kind of a practice schedule, but at the same time it was what I was doing for fun, so it was like I got joy out of it, not just practicing my instrument. And band practices, would always be in the evening, so like after practicing for 2-3 hours right after school, taking a quick break, and then around 6 o'clock after dinner the guys come over and we have band practice for a few hours, 2-3 times a week, as much as we could, sometimes every day of that week. But now that we're in college, trying to practice as much as I can. I drive back and forth from Mechanicsburg, New York, sometimes like 3 to 4 times a week, just to practice with the guys or play shows or schedule things, talk about things, or just hang out and be around my band. So it takes a lot of work and dedication, but it's been paying off. I can tell, like, even in videos and stuff of seeing us play, like, we've improved tremendously even over the past year. So all the practice has truly been paying off, and our fans and our family and our friends have definitely been giving us a lot of support and motivation and telling us that we're sounding better, and that's always like a good sign when even people we don't know are telling us that we sound better than they had seen us before, or even if they had never heard us before, they ask us how long we've been a band and stuff like that. So from high school hit us up, and he books a lot of shows around Harrisburg nowadays, and he just out of the blue asked us if we were available and said Afroman's coming to town and we need a band to open for him. So
I immediately said yes. I didn't even hesitate, and I asked the guys kind of at the same time. I was already telling them we could do it. Figured that they'd be up for it. And yeah, it was awesome. I mean, Afroman ended up being a little bit late to the show, but we played right before his set, so while we were waiting for him when he was late, we got to play for like an extra hour or so, and he appreciated that. He actually told us that, you know, thanked us for keeping the crowd there for his set. So it was like, you're welcome, Afro Man. But that was awesome, and we got to hang out with him afterwards. He like chilled in the band van, and like he actually came over and crashed at my place afterwards because I didn't want him staying at a motel. Like, we can come hang out with us. So that was really cool. And next morning, they had to get up real early, and they were headed out of town, but he played my sister's piano in the living room, and that was pretty cool. I got my own little personal concert from him, so that was sweet. Phone call on the car ride home back to York, and my dad says, "Oh, ever heard of the Real Big Fish?" And I'm like, "Yeah," like assuming maybe he asked if I wanted to go see them or something. He's like, "Oh, well, Chameleon Club just called me and said that they need a band to open for them. Like, do you want to open for them?" Yeah, call them right back. Like, call them now. We sold all 50 tickets that they gave us, and huge turnout. I've gone to shows at Chameleon Club before. I actually got to see the Real Big Fish at the same venue. And then 2 years later, I got to play with them on the same stage that I saw them at, so that was really cool experience. And all of our friends are there, and they helped get everyone else dancing, so that was awesome too. If it wasn't for them, you know, it wouldn't have been half as exciting as it was, so thank you, fans. Hell yeah.
Put down your fucking cell phone and pick up a pair of drumsticks.